Okay, hello, everyone. So we'll call our November 3rd, 2022 election board meeting to order. And we'll start with our first item of business under agenda item number 2, old business, which is approval of the minutes of our September 1st and October 6th election board meetings. Can I have a motion?
I will make a motion to approve the minutes from the September and October election board meetings.
Second.
And a roll call?
Okay, roll call. Chair boy, I am still at my election, everything going on. Shruti,
Yes.
board member Garlitz,
Yes.
and yeah, I'm telling you, I'm on slow speed here. I think I got overload. And Clerk Brown.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passed 3-0.
Thank you. So we'll move now to new business. And first we have updates. Would you like to start or should we?
Absolutely. The updates that I want to bring are about early voting. And I have to tell you, I'm a little disheartened just because when you know behind the scenes how much goes into preparing for early voting. We have only had about a 9% turnout. So this morning when I got to work, I printed one off at 7:12, and that would have been the numbers at the end of business. Yes, at the end of voting yesterday, that was 9,239 total check-ins since October 12th. That is 9% of total registered Monroe County voters. Then in preparation for this meeting, I looked one more time, and as of 12:03, there were 9,637. So about 400 people voted today. Early voting goes through Monday at noon. We have voting tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Voting on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And then on Monday from 8 a.m. to noon. It will cut off at that time so that anyone who has not voted by Monday at noon, you will go to your regular polling site. And of course, today, the site at Election Operations is open until 6 p.m. I do also have an update on the total mail ballots that I got. The ballots mailed out in Monroe County, 3,829 of those returned, 2,883, which leaves us waiting to receive 946. Now that was before the mail came in today, so that number will change today. A ballot that has come up in these elections is for voters with print disabilities. I asked for that number. 62 people asked for ballots for voters who have print disabilities, and only one was voted and returned. That has been quite there's been quite a lot of talk between all 92 clerks about voters with print disability. We're not certain that everyone understands what that means, but that is something from the state down. It is not something that was brought up. We did not offer this in Monroe County, just Monroe County. We were given the instructions to do it. We have it available for voters who self-identify, and of those 62 ballots, one was voted and returned. So that is my update.
Thank you so much. I have a question, just a clarification. When you mentioned that there are approximately 9% or around 9,600 people who have cast a ballot already, did that include the absentee ballots that have been returned, or is
No, this is, so the 9,637, which was as of 12:03, that was the number of people who in person have voted since October 12th at 8 a.m. when the polls opened.
Okay.
For early voting. So the 3,000 is a separate number. The 3,829 is a separate number, and the return ballots, all of them have not come back.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
And then we have updates from Karen Wheeler.
Sure. So I can just go along with that. If we have basically 9,000 people that have voted in person at this point, 9,000 plus. In 2018, which was a midterm, and that would be comparing very real apples to apples type of thing. At the end, we had 21,000. We are way behind on that. I can't imagine that we're going to pick up that many more people from now to Monday afternoon. But every day we've been way behind them on that number. And I have no idea. It seemed to me that it would have been similar. And I even had thoughts that it might surpass 2018, but that's not the case. So if you're thinking about voting, please come down and vote to help our numbers besides the real reason about voting.
And I'm certainly no statistician, but what I've seen on the national news is that they're comparing this election to 2014. So I don't know where we were just before Election Day in 2014.
I have those numbers, but not with me.
Right. So that, and then of course, we didn't really have in 2018.
That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. Okay. 'Cause 2018
Was a midterm
was,
4 years ago
Right.
from today.
okay, I must have misheard you. I'm so sorry.
That's-
And then we were, of course, surprised on Election Day with the huge turnout. So maybe everybody's waiting. I had somebody tell me that just this morning. He said, I said, you can vote early.
Yes.
I was promoting. And he said, I will be at my polling site. So a lot of people still want to do that on Election Day. But if you are not able to because of work or some other commitment, early voting is available right now, and you just need your government issued ID.
Absolutely. So there hasn't been really any long lines, meaning I get a lot of compliments saying that the organization and just how the method works was just been very pleasant. In fact, I had one last week said, I think every county needs to come here. Is it okay to kind of compliment everybody on this, but is that every county should come here and see how this is run, because everybody needs to copy you guys. So I thought that was really nice. Thank you. But as they come in, they don't stay in long. They get the ballot, they get printed, they go vote, and they check out, and they're out the door. And it's usually about 13 to 15 minutes from the beginning to end, depending on, of course, of how long they take to vote. That I have no control over. So most people are very happy with the process. So, of course, we don't have the numbers that we had in 2020 either.
And I'll just add, I voted on the first day of early voting that afternoon, and the process was so smooth. I think it took me 5 minutes in and out, and everybody was extremely helpful. So, and will it help maybe if we announced a location of early voting, just for anyone who's listening and not aware, that it's the Napa building, which is
The former Napa building, currently election operations.
yes. And I don't know the address at the.
Is it 302 South Walnut?
302 South Walnut, correct?
302 South Walnut. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
The other one's 401 West 7th Street. So they're kind of similar even, but in regards to other things, I do have some outstanding CFA 4s. I can't say that this is the concrete, all of them, because I've been trying to do this in between after 6 o'clock, trying to figure this out. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that were late, but have turned it in. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that are still outstanding. Maybe there's another one in there that I missed, but do you want those names, or do you want me to wait to get that all organized and bring it next month?
Should we had talked about putting it on the agenda after the election meeting. So I think we could add it to the December meeting agenda.
Absolutely.
Was that?
After the election. Okay. And then I had one other thing that I need approval from the election board that I have the incomplete registration details report that you should have in front of you. I had 22 voters that I could not register for various reasons, and that's listed. We didn't have the age affirmation, or they didn't have the date of birth, or there was no identification, or they didn't complete it for various reasons. They all have been contacted at least twice, and we're only required to contact them once, or an attempt to contact. Because if you don't have a phone number and the no email, and the mailing address is incorrect, you can only mail them something and it comes back. And I have no other way of doing it. I have those records back in the office of telling you who's been called or whatever, but they all have been tried at least 2 times.
Is there any way to know were these voter registration drives? I see one from the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. Is it a training issue?
You know, like the age affirmation or the citizenship, it's just a box, 2 boxes on the registration, on every registration. And if they don't check them, that's what happens. We cannot register them. And so they just missed it. Of course, I do the voter registration training classes. I love having those.
I know you do. Thank you.
And I think that does help, but I'm assuming that none of these were in my class and they just registered online or they sent it in. Actually, it couldn't have been online because we make them fill those out.
Right.
So
That's
take that
right.
back.
Right.
But that one didn't sign it. So from you, I just need to say that you accept these as incomplete. And I have to close this at 10 days before the election. And then, they obviously can register again.
I'm happy to make a motion to accept the incomplete registration report for the 22 individuals who failed to fully complete their voter registration application and therefore will not be eligible to vote in this election.
Second.
Okay. Ready for roll call? All right, Chairperson Rana,
Yes.
Board,
Yes.
Board Member Garlitz,
Yes.
and Clerk Brown.
Yes,
Motion passed 3-0. Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. And I believe the updates are complete. We could move to the next item, which I believe was the public comment. And I'm wondering if the person monitoring the Zoom, I see that there's some messages in the chat. If you could click on it so that we could see the chat as well. Okay, great. And then so we'd like to open up the floor for public comments. So if there's anyone in person who'd like to make a public comment, you can come up to the podium and speak for 3 minutes. If there's anyone online who would like to make a public comment, you can use the raise hand function online or to put a message in the chat so that we can call upon you. And I'll give everyone a minute to see if there's anyone who wants to make a comment either in person or virtually.
Can I make a little plug too for Election Day? We still could use a few more Democrats as well as Republicans. The Democrats are doing well, but we still don't probably have enough backup. And the Republicans are doing amazingly well from where they were. But we still always have people dropping out between now and Tuesday morning. So if you're anywhere interested in doing that, we still will, we'd love to have those names.
And these are for poll workers, is
Both
that
are.
correct?
Poll
Okay,
workers, yes, on Election Day.
great, thank you. And anyone who's interested in volunteering as a poll worker, may they contact you, Karen, directly, or should they contact a party chair? Or both?
Contact voter registration or
Okay.
me or the
Okay.
poll workers, the recruiters, which we have their names on our website. But just get a hold of me or we're going to
Okay.
get that name passed on however we can.
Great.
I have to say, though, we have had quite a few people turn out. I know that you know that as often as I can, I go over to those poll worker classes and say thank you. Because we know that they are giving up what could otherwise be a day off, or they're taking off from their regular position to come and help us. And so the classes kept getting bigger and bigger at first. I had a few and I'd say hello and say thank you. And then when I walk in now, I mean, the class is full. So whatever we're doing is working because people are showing up for training. Just that last little push to if you were wavering, it's time to step up, and we'd be very grateful for your help on election day.
Hi,
you.
election board. Can you hear me? Hi, election board. It's Molly.
Yes.
And while we're on the topic of election workers, I just have a friendly reminder, which is, as always, we're thankful for the job that our election workers do during election time, and we want to ensure that they get paid properly. Therefore, as a reminder, the forms required for election workers to be paid need to be submitted to the auditor's office in the requested format by November 11th, no later than noon. And I wanted to remind you that November 11th is a holiday. And if the auditor's office receives the forms in the requested format by November 11th, that would ensure that election workers get paid on the 16th. If the forms are received after the 11th, then payment for election workers will not be paid until November 30th because there's that last meeting of the commissioners is canceled for November.
Okay, thank you. And I'm just looking around again and I don't see any hands raised or anyone who appears to make a comment. So we'll close the public comment period. And our next item is our notice that, or to mention that our next county election board meeting is December 1st, 2022 at 1 p.m. here in this room as well as virtually. So I guess I'd like to say thank you to everyone. And should we? Did you want?
Yes, I just wanted to say I was going to make a motion for recess because we will come together again on Monday evening at Election Central to make sure that our polling sites are set up and ready to go. And then we will be together again on election morning, 5 a.m. My alarm's set for 3. I know it's painful. It's painful. And we'll be, of course, together again on the 18th to reconcile. I had asked Karen to go ahead and notice all of those when she noticed this meeting so that we had no issues there. And that's all I have other than a formal motion to recess in lieu of adjournment.
Thank you. And should we do a second and a roll call?
I'm not for sure what I am noticing, sorry.
Oh, the motion to recess.
The 3 times that the election board will come together
Oh.
before.
You want me to send those notices out accordingly on those days or before?
Right.
Yes,
I thought you had, I saw,
I did already.
okay, that's what
in
I
here.
thought.
I didn't know if you wanted me to do it again.
No.
Okay, it's all done. All right, thanks.
Great. And then do we do a roll call for the motion to recess, right? Is that where we were?
At
Yeah.
your leisure, madam.
All right. Great. Karen, could we have a roll call we had a motion to recess and then a second?
Are we doing a roll call? No.
Yeah.
You were asking for a roll call.
Yeah,
I am so sorry. This hearing is crazy. Okay, Chairperson Rana,
Yes.
Board Member Garlitz.
Yes.
Clerk Brown,
Yes.
motion carried 3-0.
Thank you so much.
Do you hear it, dear? No, it's makes me.